You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 5th, 2023 meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety to order. This 5th day of June 2023, President or Mayor Dwayne Perry, Mr. Michael Vinson, myself, Virginia Keating, we have a quorum. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular hybrid Zoom meeting of May 15, 2023, the executive session of May 9th, 2023, the AFSCME union contract negotiation meeting of May 9th, 2023, and the special meeting of May 25th, 2023. Are there any corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vinson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request for uniform change. Chief Doug Legault, Michigan City Fire Department, is requesting permission to allow firefighters to wear patriotic shirts from July 1st, 2023 through July 31st, 2023 as part of their uniform. Good morning.
Good morning, President and board members. Doug Legault, Michigan City Fire Chief. Yes, it's exactly how President explained it. We like to offer the option of the firefighters buying a patriotic shirt for the month of July, and they also wear that during the parade. We do this every year, and I presented a picture of it. I believe the administration came up with that design. I'm not 100% sure there, but that's the one they presented to me, and it looks pretty good. So we appreciate you letting us do this.
Are there any public comments? Board comments?
Motion to approve.
I have a quick question for Chief. Sorry. Just for clarification, these are shirts that the firefighters purchase for a donation to a charitable organization?
Not these. Other ones we do, like the mustache one that we do in October. That one we donate. I don't believe we donate for this one. I'll have to check on that, but I don't believe so. Do you remember, Joe? We do not on this one. No.
Is this a shirt that everyone is assigned a shirt?
No, it's their option. They don't have to buy one.
Oh, it's their purchase.
It's option. Yeah, it's optional. They can still wear their duty shirts, the normal ones that we have in the uniform policy. This is just a patriotic thing we like to do. And we've done it in the past. Every year we come up with a 4th of July shirt, we call it, but we like to wear it the whole month.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll second the motion.
And then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vinson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. The next item on the agenda is going to be pushed back to another meeting. So we'll skip that one. We'll go on to the Memorandum of Understanding. Shannon Eason, representing the Michigan City Public Art Committee, is requesting approval of a memorandum of understanding between Garrett Kulak, artist, and Michigan City Public Works to place his art titled Wool on the northwest corner of 8th Street and Franklin Street in the amount of $3,000. And this funding has been affirmed by the Controller's Office. Please.
Shannon Eason, treasurer of the Michigan City Public Art Committee. In June of every year, we work on our Sculpt Fusion, which is the program downtown where we revolve sculptures in and out. This particular one we'd like to keep and just do a 2-year renewal. It's $1,500 per year for 2 years for a total of $3,000.
Thank you. Are there any public comments? Board comments?
Madam Chair, I have a few questions. Ms. Eason, we already have a sculptor, the big blue chair on the northwest corner. Is this that same structure?
It is.
Okay. Well, 2 items down, I noticed reviewing before the meeting, you understand between Little Tess, also you want to put Moon Spirit at the northwest corner of 8th and Franklin. Is that a typo?
It must be, yeah.
Because I don't think there's enough room for two
No, there's
sculptures
not.
on that corner.
We always put one at each corner.
I would suggest either the east side corners, the northeast or the southeast. I drove by them and there's enough room there, but the southwest is 801 Cafe where it used to be, and there's not enough room for one there. So
Right, thank you for
please
pointing that
consider
out.
that.
So noted. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next is an addition to the agenda today, another memorandum of understanding with the artist being Janet Austin and the sculpture being Waterbird.
And this is also a 2-year renewal. Waterbird is across the street from Horizon Bank. It's a large blue bird. We're hoping to buy the sculpture after this 2-year lease is up. So I just asked that you approve the renewal.
Thank you. Is there any public comment?
Um,
Board comment?
I'm sorry.
Are you adding this?
I'm adding it.
And who has the contract?
We'll get to that point afterwards. Okay. Sure. Any board comment?
Just one and I'll chill out. We've got a lot of artists here. Hopefully they live in Michigan City, hopefully at Art Space.
Not all of them, no. We deal with artists in Michigan City when we can. Most of these are regional artists. So it just depends on who has sculptures available that will fit in our spaces. That's kind of difficult. Some of these pieces are very large and hard to place.
And next is another memorandum of understanding, and this would be the artist Maureen Gray, and the sculpture will be connected. I don't see the placement, but funding has been approved.
Right. So a couple of the new sculptures that are coming in June, we're still trying to find ideal locations to put them, but they will all be in the Uptown Arts District.
Thank you.
Just replacing other pieces that are being taken out.
Thank you. Public comment? Is there any board comment?
We're still talking about the structure entitled Connected.
Yes,
Okay, none here, Madam Chair.
I have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Another memorandum of understanding, this being the artist Tess Little, and the title of the art is Moon Spirit. This is the one we just discussed where you have it at the northwest corner of 8th and 9th Street. You're going to make a change to that, I understand. Correct. Okay.
No, I believe it was just so right now the contract reads 823 Franklin Street on the west side between 8th and 9th Street. Is that still correct, Shannon?
That's correct. Yes.
So there's just a typo on the agenda, not the actual contract.
Okay, contract is correct then. All right. Any public comment? Any board comment?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. The next item is an addendum number 1 to the memorandum of understanding. This is between Ruth Middahl and the Board of Public Works and Safety to modify the terms of paragraph number 6 of the original lease agreement to be extended to October 15, 2023 with no additional compensation.
Yeah, so this lease expires on June 22nd. However, the artist asked that we keep it through October. At that point, it's being moved to Chicago. If she had to remove it in June, she'd have to store it through October. So we get the benefit of the extra 4 months with no payment of having her sculpture. This one's located at Pullman Park. It's about 28 feet tall. It's quite substantial. So we're happy to keep it for 4 months for free.
Good, good. Is there any public comment? Board comment?
None here, Madam Chair.
Motion to approve.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next is a request to donate artwork. And the request is for approval for the donation of the sculpture Ram from Don Babcock to the city of Michigan City.
Yes, this is quite a substantial donation. It's valued at $15,000. It's a very large ram that was it came from Mexico in pieces, and then it was assembled and reworked by Roger Kerr out of Westville and Don Babcock. It weighs 6,000 pounds. It's on a very large stone base. We intend to ask the park board to place it across from the zoo in Washington Park this Wednesday. So if this board accepts the donation, hopefully they'll approve the new location and we'll unveil that in June.
Thank you. That's very good.
Oh, if I might mention too, we are having a naming contest. So if you get on Facebook throughout this month, you can submit names and then the art committee will pick the top 10, put that out for public vote. So kind of a fun way to get the art committee out in the community.
That's a good idea. Any public comment? Any board comment?
Madam Chair, I'm a little bit interested. Mr. Babcock, I don't think is an artist. How did he become in possession of this?
So it started with the ram on a stick. If everyone remembers the big red ram sculpture that was kind of controversial, then people started dressing it for the events. And when it left, we got a lot of people saying, where'd our ram go? Like they hated it when we got it. And at the end of the 2-year lease, they loved it. So Don took it upon himself to find a ram replacement to put it back in the community. And that's where it came from.
I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Next item is a professional agreement. This request is to approve a professional artist service agreement with Artist Flex Maldonado for painting of a mural on the concrete wall at Canada Park in the amount of $10,000.
Thank you.
And there's funding available on this as well.
Yes. So the city council added $20,000 to the art committee's budget in 2023. And our goals for that money is to start spreading public art into our neighborhoods. So this will be one of our first neighborhood projects. Flex is an upcoming mural artist. He's starting to get quite famous. So I think this piece is going to have a big draw to people to come to Michigan City and actually see his work. It'll be located across the street from Dune Billy's in Canada Park, and it's nature themed to celebrate the dunes. So we're very excited to get this piece while we can still afford this artist.
Well, when is this going to be completed?
He intends to start it at the end of June. So he's got 4 projects going on right now, but he's going to put ours in first just so we can have it for the summer, just because it's such a tourist area.
Okay. All right. I understand the contract says the completion date would be the 31st of October. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Is there any public comment? Is there any board comment?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Next item is a memorandum of understanding between the City of Michigan City Public Works and the artist Michael Magnota, and the art is titled Eye of the Storm.
And this is another 2-year lease for a new piece to add to Sculpt Fusion. Again, we haven't found the exact location yet. Matt Kubik is on our committee. He's an architect, so he's looking for proper sites. All of the new pieces will be installed by the end of June, but it will be again in the Uptown Arts District.
All right. Public comment.
Tommy Kolavic, 1316 Ohio Street. I know there's been a big push to put these public artworks out in the neighborhoods. My suggestion would be is we need to, it's long overdue, we take down the dilapidated city-owned structure at 6th and Willard. Mayor, as the mayor, you by statute, you have the authority over all the city-owned property. I know that structure is really close to the road. A car came by and almost destroyed the foundation. It's all boarded up. One of the windows were all busted out. Years ago, it was a West Side Police substation. I'd like to see that taken down. Maybe have a public art display put there. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. A little bit off our subject, though. Is there any other public comment? Is there board comments?
Just a question. I think I missed it. We do not have an exact location for this yet?
That's right.
No, it'll be somewhere in the Uptown Arts District.
Okay. Well, before we approve it, I'd like to know location.
I mean, I could certainly come back. This board has approved like all of our locations through the Uptown Arts District at one point or another, and we just move stuff around. So it'll definitely be on a corner on Franklin Street. It's just hard to place these when you haven't seen them. You know, you have a photograph.
Okay.
At one point, we put the big blue waves in front of Horizon Bank to find out that they weren't 7 foot tall, so they were a hazard. And we had to build like concrete bases to lift it up. So we try not to make that mistake again and actually like fit the pieces when we get them and we can and see how they fit. But I'd be happy to come back and report to the board after the 3 new ones are installed.
What's your pleasure, Mayor?
Oh, I'm okay with it. I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Shannon.
Madam Chair, could I ask to read our events list because I have a
Please.
meeting to go to?
Oh, so that's fine. We'll
Okay.
just go over to that. Sure.
So for June and July, every weekend we have EVP volleyball tournaments going on down on the beach. So I'm not going to read all of those. Every Thursday at 7:30, there's a municipal band concert at the Guy Foreman Amphitheater. Parking is discounted for the concerts beginning at 7 p.m. It's only $4 to park. We started that last year. It was very successful. City events, we have Singing Sands. Oh, Terry's here to report, but I'll report on his. Singing Sands Sand Sculpting Festivals coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Washington Park. Friday, June 16th, we have free family movies in the park at North Point Pavilion. Saturday, June 17th, Pride Fest at the Guy Foreman Amphitheater. Sunday, June 18th, Father's Day at the zoo. Fathers get in free with a paying child. June 20th, 21st, and 22nd, the W.G. Jackson will be here. That's a free educational cruise. It departs from Millennium Plaza. It's hands-on learning. You do water testing. It's quite interesting. So I encourage people to call Sanitary District if they like to do that and make a reservation. Saturday, June 24th, we have Hobie Cat races in the park. Also the Kitty Parade on that date. Also the Old Lighthouse Museum fundraising cruise at 4 p.m. July 1st is our Patriotic Parade. Also, there's a concert live at the lakefront in Millennium Plaza. Fireworks, of course, on July 4th. Friday, July 7th, another concert at Millennium. It's a Fleetwood Mac tribute band. Saturday and Sunday, July 8th and 9th, Aqua X P1 jet ski races in Washington Park. Friday, July 14th, free movies in the park. Saturday, July 15th, Beyond the Beach Music Festival at the amphitheater. Saturday and Sunday, July 15th and 16th is our Soccer in the Sand tournament. This brings teams in from all over the United States. It's a great event. Saturday, July 22nd, Old Lighthouse Museum's anniversary and the Eastland Memorial dedication. Also on the 22nd, Hobie Cat races in the park. Also on the 22nd, live at the lakefront concert at Millennium, and that's a Prince experience. And Saturday, July 29th, another live at the lakefront concert at Millennium Plaza, Ultimate 90s Dance Party.
Thank you.
That's it for June and July.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
for informational purposes only. Moving on, we have a request for streetlights. Brad Minnick Haas and Associates is requesting to replace existing streetlights at the northeast corner of Elston Grove parking lot located at the northeast corner of Pine Street and A Street to illuminate the public parking lot and add a street light at the northeast corner of Washington Street and West 11th Street to an existing fixed pole.
Good morning, Brad Minnick, Haas and Associates. You should have pictures of the proposed locations, and I should say that this is in conjunction with the next item on the agenda for public parking associated with the Nickty South Shore project. So this item, the streetlights, the one would be in the northeast corner of the Elston Grove parking lot. There's a pole and light already there, but it appears to be out of service for some time. So I'm just asking that that be restored. And the next request would be a new light at the northeast corner of Washington 11th Street. It's in the alleyway. So there were some lights adjacent to there that were demoed as part of the NICD double track project. And this would illuminate that light again as part of proposed parking for the next item on the agenda.
Is there any public comment?
Well, Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. It's quite dark over there. Definitely need lighting in the locations that he's speaking of. But we need to go down towards York Street as well. And I hope that security is provided by the South Shore. When the cars start parking there, there's going to be vandals, there's going to be problems. And I don't want
You
our
can find your comments to this
that
matter.
situation. We're talking about security lights, right?
Just
we talk about
these
security.
security.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any board comment?
None here, Madam Chair.
And do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Support?
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is the public parking access. Brad, once again, is requesting approval of 4 public parking locations for NICD South Shore patrons to use for overflow parking located in the proximity of 11th Street and South Shore Station. Would you explain, please?
Yeah, I'll let Skylar talk to that as well.
So what this is we have public parking spaces or public parking lots, I should say. What we're doing is we're just making sure that the federal government hears that we're okay with people parking in those parking spaces. It is public parking. This would be public parking. What we would need to do is put a sign there for NICD saying temporary parking while we build this garage, essentially is what we're doing. We have to build this garage. It's going to be about 500 parking spaces in there, but until we get that done, we have to provide some parking within a quarter mile, which is the walking. It's about a 5-minute walk, essentially, around that station. And these lots meet that quarter mile pedestrian walking distance, if you will. It would also be associated with a temporary sign that said, temporary NICD parking, making sure that the commuters know, yes, you can park here. It's public. We're not going to tow your car, things of that nature. And it would also have time frames associated with it, because we do know that some of these lots, like the farmers market, happens on Saturdays throughout from May to October. We'd make sure that Saturdays were blackout days, if you will, on those time frames. We've been in contact with NICD right now to work on that signage. This would not start until next year, though. This will be for the 24 season. The reason being we got to get it in place right now is I have to assure the federal government that we have everything in place so that we can they'll release our funds to start building the garage.
Okay, what are the locations of these lots?
That's wrong.
Doesn't this one start this year?
So there is one that starts this year, but it's not a public space. It's got an MOU with it. That is the old Elston School. We've already secured an MOU with them. But that's not a public space that we own. So the public spaces we're looking at, so starting with the Elston lot, which is directly north on Pine Street at the corner of Pinth and 8th. People overlook that lot. It actually is for public parking. We call it the goat lot collectively or colloquially. It is on the corner of Washington and 8th, and then on the northeast corner of Washington and 8th, and then on the southeast corner of Washington and 8th, you have the farmers market lot, which all are public parking spaces. Am I missing one? Yes. So the end of the walkway, the 700-foot walkway, the loading ramp ends approximately Cedar Street, where it comes down and ends. So the other public parking spaces is at the other, is on Cedar Street, where the IBEW building is. There's actually some public parking there on the street. Keep in mind, as part of this project, we will be, since it's part of the larger project, we can restripe. We plan on restriping everything so that the lot looks good and basically redesignating the parking spots so that, and we're going to do that for the city.
Okay, and there's going to be no restriction for city?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just simply, for lack of other terms, kind of making a paper trail to make sure the feds understand that we have agreed. Yes, everyone can park here. There's no restrictions on the city. It's still public parking, still available. If I want to go park there, you want to go park there, it's still available. Just mainly making sure that the commuters know they can park there.
Okay. Is there any public comment?
Yeah, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. If these are public parking spaces, anybody can park there in the public for a 24-hour period, so long as it's not designated parking. Last year, we had to represent Horizon Bank. He wanted the public parking for the bank customers. You know, Captain Lassie came up, you know, the police can't enforce whether they're a bank customer or whether a South Shore rider or a patron. I really think this needs to be denied. You know, they're the same thing. If they want their parking space, you're going to have every business along Franklin Street want to reserve their parking space in front of their business for their customers. We just can't do that. Thank you.
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. I don't think the residents on 8th Street and Cedar was even informed of this. I also think it should be denied. And I wonder who's going to take care of the insurance on this. Thank you.
Is there any board comment?
Just one, and there's a question mark after it that would hope someone would answer. I'm fairly certain this is a contractual obligation that we have because the parking garage was not done by June 1st, which occurred through no fault whatsoever, Michigan City. So we do have a contractual obligation to do this. And the cost of insurance, I'm sure, will be borne by NICD.
Just keep in mind, it doesn't restrict any public parking. There's no restrictions. It's still public.
Understood. Brad, did you have something else you wanted to add?
No, nothing to add. Just clarification, the map in front of you, the parking lots he referenced are the ones clouded in with green circles. I know there's a lot going on in that map, but that's the locations of the proposed lots.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to approve.
I'll address after the, I know this is next year, but with the farmer's market, if we have long-term parkers in there and the car is still there on a Saturday.
It would be a blackout day, basically no parking because of the farmer's market. We wouldn't, just like we don't allow public parking there, we would put a blackout date and then we would have a map that says can't park here, but here's the other places you can.
If somebody comes in on a Wednesday,
yes,
parks their car, they're gone until the next Wednesday.
Yes, they shouldn't be parked there. I mean,
You'll make it clear.
It'll be like if we parked there on a Saturday morning, we would be towed probably as well because it's already being used for farmers market. The other thing too is the majority of the parking for this project is at the old Elston School. We have an agreement with the school corporation. There's almost 300 parking spaces right there. And it's a little bit closer. So I imagine with proximity to the station, that's probably going to be the place where we see the majority of parking at. So there are some other locations that we have secured through MOUs. They're just not public.
Okay, thank you. I'll second the motion.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item is approval for charging stations. Brad Minnick, Haas and Associates is requesting to install 4 charging stations at public parking lot behind the Art Space building on the northeast corner of Washington and 8th Street. My understanding is these been installed already.
Yes, that's what maybe I wasn't clear in my description of the request. The city of Michigan City has previously installed 4 charging stations at that public parking lot. They just simply need to be energized.
Okay, all right.
And if there's other questions, Sylvia may be able to answer those.
Okay, I have a number of questions. Okay, who installed these?
The redevelopment commission got a grant through the state. This has been during COVID. This happened like right at the beginning of COVID, which delayed the delivery of these actually quite a bit. But we did get them installed. It was through the Sustainability Commission asked the city, and then basically it fell in the redevelopment commission's lap to fund it. But it is through IDEM, and it was through the mitigation with, you might recall, Volkswagen had that big mitigation that happened with emissions and all that. This was one of the fallouts of that. They had to provide EV charging stations. So it was
Maintains these.
it would be on the city to maintain them eventually.
And this may be picky to some, but why wasn't the Board of Works made aware that this was going on? I mean, we'd like to know because it's here now and it's eventually going to come before us. Why? You don't have an answer?
No.
Perhaps you could remedy that if something like this comes up again.
Yeah, so this is a pilot program. These were supposed to go. I can't remember where they were supposed to go. It's been a while since I've messed with this project. There's 2 chargers, 4 spaces. They're actually installed in what we call the goat lot, with the goat sculpture. There's kind of a push to use up some of our public parking for EV chargers. There's not a lot that I don't know a lot about these EV chargers. I don't know how much they cost. I don't have an EV, so I don't know a lot about them. But I would say that before we install a lot of these, let's use this as a pilot and see what does it cost us per year. What does it take to recharge these? You brought up a point the other day about like the technology inside these. Is it like a computer where you can only upgrade them ever so much and then you got to replace the product? I don't know a lot of those answers. So.
And how much is it going to cost for an individual to use?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. We'll say that the Redevelopment Commission has said that we will pay for the first year of the electrification of these to see, so that it's not on the city to carry the cost burden of what does it cost per year. We would do that. The Redevelopment Commission would do that, just so that the city can figure out, is it something we want to go forth in the future?
Okay, the cost you're talking about though would be just the service, the whatever service. Okay, what I'm interested in too is the individuals who use these. What are they going to have to pay?
So ultimately, this grant was given as a study session. We were given the grant to install the EV stations so that we can collect the data to determine the efficiency of them, but also how much per car it would cost. This is supposed to be a study to determine those numbers for this grant ultimately. And at the end of the year, the data that's gathered from the EV stations supposed to help calculate those totals and those numbers. So the EV station wasn't installed for income. It was installed as a study for the City of Michigan City to utilize it for a year to collect that data at the end to determine what EV stations should be charging in Port County as a whole. So there were several different areas and several different locations within LaPorte that have these exact stations for this exact study. Ours just kind of didn't come to fruition within that year. And so now we're trying to bring them online and to try to complete that study per se.
So are you saying then for the first year that they can be used for free? Is that what you're saying?
based upon the grant, that is exactly what is supposed to be
And
done.
after the year, then based on the data that you have, you calculate what's going to be the
Yes.
charge. Okay, all right, I understand.
Because
Oh, I'm so sorry. Free, the redevelopment commission would pay for that first year. So free to the user, free to the city, if you will, or the
Mhm.
city proper.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarification. Does that prompt any questions from the board?
Just a few, Madam Chair. Since we're going into the period, we're going to do some studying. We need to get our arms around this thing, how much they're going to cost to install, to maintain, what the life of these units are, and what the demand is going to be. We have enough, I've seen enough EV stations around town. I think we have substantially more than we have cars in town to use them. So I think it's a neat national movement, but we need to get our arms around this a little
I
bit.
think it's, from a city standpoint, I think it's something you have to look at from the standpoint of, these units, two of them cost approximately 58 grand to install, 60,000, say. The private market, when we first started this, there weren't any in town. Now the private markets come in, Tesla, even private from the standpoint of they're going to companies and saying, hey, we want to install, we'll pay Myers to take up your parking spaces. We'll pay to install these in your lot if we can get the revenue. So I think it's a balance between how many does the city want to offer in our downtown versus what is the private market offering in near downtown, things of that nature. So I agree with you, Mayor. It's really how many cars do we know we have in Michigan City? How many are passing through? There's a lot
We've
of
got
unknown,
time.
if you will.
It's just time to figure it out. Also, could you provide the clerk's office with all of the contract documents that you have generated?
Yeah.
Through RDC. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
A couple of questions, and I get caught up in the government versus private battle here. We're talking about collecting data. We're not going to know anything for a year. The private companies already know. They've been in for a year. Do we knock on doors and will they share that data, or will they, I hate to use the term infiltrate, but would they be interested in coming downtown to offer their services other than the city taking on the cost, the liability, the collecting of data, the maintenance? I mean, some things private companies do pretty well.
that is a legitimate and very awesome question, because that's something that I also was thinking about, and maybe going down the avenue of kind of reaching out to those individuals as we start our study and having those different conversations and bringing them on board, because that is an alternative to, the city taking on that financial responsibility after redevelopment is no longer in that picture, finding other avenues to fund these sites, especially if they're already doing them. So I think that is something that we can look into.
So there's some grants out there right now. I think it's something that the Sustainability Commission, we don't have time to do that. It's something if they want to push for the grants and things of that nature, they really need to bring us the data before we make these decisions to go after grants, things of that nature. There's data out there. How many cars do we have? How many units are out there? In the private market, do this. We do parking that way in other cities. They're metered. That's a private company. The city doesn't maintain that. It's a private venture at that point in time. We provide space. So
I'd also like to hear, since Chief is here, about fire department concerns. I mean, is there anything different with these charging stations or the cars with the batteries? Do we need extra equipment?
I'm gonna have to get back with you on that one, because I'm also new to this. So I'll do some research.
I know you use foam and things like that, but I don't.
For the vehicle standpoint itself, it's all about the amount of water. And we had one of our salesmen come in the other day and said there is some special equipment that's coming out now that we're going to look at. It's basically the gallonage of water is just tremendous. I went to an EV class a few months ago. Basically, You have to use probably constant water flow for, I think, around 45 minutes. So that's going to be the issue. It's just the water flow, but as long as it's within our hydrant system, it should be fine there. But we are going to look at some additional equipment, but it's just some small, like specialty nozzles is what they've come out with. So we're going to look at that. He just brought it to me the other day. So we are looking into that. As far as the station itself, I don't know the electrical side of it, but we'll look into it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a license application request. Manuel Ravici Cirque and Entertainment 2 LLC is requesting approval for a 4-day temporary acrobatic event under a big top tent at the Michigan City Lighthouse Mall starting on July 20th, 2023 through July 23rd, 2023. Is there anyone here to address this? Amber, did you want to talk about that?
Madam President, given the nature of the request, I'd ask police, fire and planning to be here to just speak of it so that to address any concerns they may have or not have.
Okay.
But other than that, I see everything in order, paperwork, but like I said, from those three departments, I think it's relevant to hear.
Okay, gentlemen.
Good morning, Jeff Bruder, Fire Marshal. This isn't the first time this company's been in the city. They actually have a pretty good track record as far as safety, and we do a complete inspection before they're due to open. We're not the only city in the area. Warsaw, I've discussed with their fire inspector as well last year when we had 2 shows here. It's a little different structure of show. They have different shows that travel. Same setup as far as the tent and the material that the tent's made of. We make sure that it's licensed and fire resistant. Check their exits again. They go through an inspection with Sue, with the city and the fire department as well. So they've been reputable. They've been good to the city, and I believe they sell out their shows rather quickly. So
Okay, so you recommend.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yep. Anybody wants to check out, they do have YouTube videos as well. So
thank you. Planning, you want to put your 2 cents in?
Yeah, 2 cents for about what it'll be worth. Yes, it will. We've approved this before. Miss Sue Downs, building commissioner, and Jeff, they work hand in hand. They go inspect it together and inspect all the plugins and how it's fixed to the ground, all those things. We've never had any issues with them. And I know they bring a lot of people here who actually bring probably just the performers themselves stay in our city as well and bring a lot of economic value as well. So, yeah, I have no issues with this, and Sue will work with Jeff again and just make sure it's done correctly.
Okay, and Corporal Wright.
Good morning, Brian Wright, Commander of Michigan City Police Traffic Division. Chief Corley and I were just talking, and like the fire department planning said, they've done this before. We've never had any issues with it, so we don't see why they can't do it again this year.
So we've got everybody recommending. Is there any public comment? Any board comment?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I would like to throw something out for consideration in another industry that I've been involved in. They have what they call execution plans, which is a write-up on and supporting material on exactly how the event is going to be conducted. We've talked about that with Main Street and their events. And I think it's a good practice because we had an episode last year with an activity that was scheduled to be up on the lakefront starting a Friday night. And we found out Thursday, because we did not have an execution plan, that there was going to be a mechanical bull there, which is an extremely high liability item. So that's just one example, but I would like to see in the future an execution plan provided by the entities that put these events on, because there is liability there. Every once in a while, you hear about a bad thing happening at a fair or circus, something like that. I think that that needs to be put in place as a requirement.
Thank you.
Mayor, they did present us with an emergency fire and evacuation plan.
Okay,
It is in the application.
that's a little bit different than
Yeah, but
execution
that
plan.
is in there.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a street closure request. Tracy Levy, commander of the American Skiat Legion, Post Legion 451, is requesting a street closure for the corner of Washington Street and May Avenue to Washington Street and Skiat Legion Way on Saturday, July 15, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. for their annual autism ride with American Legion riders. And I'm confused here because this document says autism. The application that I saw for a special event said Alzheimer's, so I'm not sure what the event is for. Is there anyone here to address this? Okay. No problem? No. Okay, all right. Is there any public comment? Is there any board comment?
None here, Madam Chair.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we need do we need certificate of insurance?
We do. They have not presented us with one.
Okay, then contingent.
Motion contingent on satisfied certificate of insurance.
Support.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item is another street closure request. Tracy Levy, commander of American Skiat Post Legion number 451, is requesting street closure for the corner of Washington Street and May Avenue to Washington Street and Skiat Legion Way on Saturday, September 9th, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. for their annual Labor Days event. Once again, Amber, have you looked at this?
I have. We just need the certificate of insurance.
Okay.
I didn't present that either.
Why don't you come up here and have you looked at this?
Yes, I have. This is not the first time they're doing this event, and we never have any issues with their street closures. They always have someone actually, from what I've seen at the barricades that are put up, making sure people aren't coming in, so they kind of run their own show. We've never had a problem with them doing this in the past.
Thank you for the input.
Yes, ma'am.
Amber, certificate of insurance.
There's no chief or corporal. I'm sorry.
Yes.
We just one question here. On their application, it does say that liquor is going to be sold, and they don't plan on hiring off-duty security. Would we require off-duty security if liquor is sold outside? You know.
I would need to look into that. I think normally we only do that if it's in like a city building, like the senior center or Krieger Memorial Hall. I don't think for there they need to, but I would have to look just to be sure.
Any board comments?
I'll make a motion to approve pending investigation of the off-duty security
And
And submittal of the insurance certificate.
and submittal of approved COI.
Yeah, we've got a little time on this till September 9th, so I'll support that.
call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item is an application for vendor license. William Maynard Phantom Fireworks Eastern Region LLC is requesting a vendor license to sell fireworks in the Michigan City Menards parking lot from June 22nd, 2023 through July 4th, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Good morning. Would you state your name?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm here. My name is Randy Emmons on behalf of William. He couldn't be here. But yeah, we would just like to do a temporary sales event in Menards parking lot to sell legalized consumer grade fireworks. Like you said, from June 22nd through July 4th. It'll be under a 20-foot by 40-foot tent. We also utilize one of those 8-foot by 40-foot storage pods to hold our product in at nighttime. Well, and during the day, but our operators will take the product every evening, put it in the pod, go home, sleep, and then come home, come back every day to reset it up. So it's real safe. A lot of our competitors don't provide that, and those guys have to like sleep under the tent for 24/7 every day. So it's a lot safer doing it our way. Our hours of operation are from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. We have a great reputation. We're nationwide, and we really have a great track record. I'm actually from Michigan. All our Michigan fire marshals love us. We do everything right. They know when they come to our tent that they are not going to find issues. And so it should be the same thing here.
Thank you. Amber?
Sir, just one question. I know you attached an email chain from Menards, but can you just confirm that Menards has given you permission?
Oh, yeah, you should have a permission slip in your packet that we sent you.
No, all we got was an email.
Oh,
and it didn't, the email was, it didn't confirm anything. All it said is we're looking at Michigan City location. It wasn't a confirmation. Oh, that'd be great. Is this our copy?
You can have it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That answers the question.
Yep.
And then, Madam President, I just ask you to hear from the other departments to see if they have any issues.
Fire Department?
Jeff Bruder, Fire Marshal, pending an inspection before he opens. That'll determine whether he can operate there or not. I've never worked with this gentleman or the company before, but we'll make sure they're safe enough to operate.
Okay. And planning?
I would just say that we would probably rely heavily on the fire department to make sure that everything's safe, but we would just review it for like not blocking access into Menards, things like that. But I mean, these are pretty, he's done this before. He probably knows what to do. So what we would need is just a simple site plan, and then probably Stu and Jeff would go out and just inspect how it's affixed to the ground, etc. Things of that nature, similar to the Big Top thing. Just make sure everything's licensed and things of that nature.
Does anybody have any problem with this pod that they're going to leave overnight unattended?
No, temporary things like that. As long as you guys grant the license, I think we're good on that, because that would probably have a time frame on it that it would be moved or removed, if you will. So
What I'm referring to is that the fireworks would be in a pod. There would be no security overnight.
I would have
and
to.
Is that acceptable?
Not to mention that there's a heat component too.
Yeah.
Is it an actual shipping container?
Yeah.
He probably won't have a problem as long as it's locked and secured.
And we do double lock them.
All right. Is there any public comment?
Yeah, Tommy Kolavic, 1316 Ohio Street. I started to sell on the 22nd. We're only permitted to discharge our fireworks beginning on the night of the 29th. I think that needs to be amended. You can only start selling on the 29th through July 9th. Those are the nights we can discharge our fireworks. Thank you.
Is there any board comment?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'm not going to second it. I'm opposed to fireworks.
Then I will second it. I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Nay.
Mr. Mason.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Next item is a request for vertical drilling. Joseph Gordon Kaz Environmental LLC is requesting to do a vertical environmental sample located east of Carroll Avenue at the former dry cleaner site and will schedule after the approval. Is there anyone here to address this? Go ahead. You got him there?
Second.
Yeah.
Good morning, Steve Stanford, Michigan City Sanitary District. I know a little bit about this. The sanitary district has no special interest in this project. We are aware that there is some dry cleaning solvent in the ground and the groundwater in the vicinity of the Eastgate Plaza, but it does not seem to be traveling very far. We've tested the Cheney Run water flow. We've tested our sanitary sewers to the Eastgate Plaza, and we've found no more than a slight trace in the sanitary sewer.
This is Joe Gordon with CAS. Can you hear me by chance?
Go ahead.
Hello? Yes, we'll be placing our boring about 125 feet east of South Carroll Avenue. It'll be a vertical boring. We'll be out there about an hour and a half to put the boring in. We'll be putting in a temporary monitoring well to do some sampling once a quarter for a couple quarters so that we can demonstrate that the plume has not extended onto Michigan City property or the school property, which is south of there.
Who hired you to do this?
I'm working through Concord Cleaners, John Shop.
Okay.
And this is at a request from IDEM.
Amber.
How long will the monitoring wells be installed?
It'll be one well, and it will be flush mount with the ground surface, and it will be approximately a year. I don't see it going past that. We just need to show consistent quarters that there's no impacts to the groundwater, and then we'll be able to remove it.
Okay, so not to exceed 1 year.
Yes.
Sir, also the certificate of insurance does not meet our requirements. So if the board does approve this, we're going to have to approve it contingent upon a new certificate of insurance that meets our requirements.
Yes, I understand that, and I have. I just got a addendum to my insurance on Friday. They addressed everything other than the commercial vehicle requirements. I don't have a commercial vehicle. I'm a independent owner, environmental scientist, and I don't have commercial vehicles, so I won't be able to address that. Nor will my vehicle be on the property. It'll be parked at Eastgate Plaza.
Well, we have other concerns too. There needs to be pollution liability. We need to be named as additional insured. We're not named as additional insured. We're only named as a certificate holder. Those are just a few.
Okay. I will work that out with my group and forward that as soon as we get that complete.
Thank you.
Thanks. Is there any public comment? Board comment?
I'll make a motion to approve pending a satisfied certificate of insurance.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a contract approval. Matt Weber, General Insurance, is requesting approval for the agreement for the City of Michigan City with JWF Specialty Company as part of the property and casualty policy that was approved at the March 6, 2023 Board of Public Works meeting. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, Matt Weber, General Insurance Services. This is a follow-up from the March meeting when we approved the property and casualty insurance program renewal. Part of that program included a TPA, third-party administration agreement, need. JWF Specialty, also the TPA for the work comp program, was presented and approved. However, the official contract physical document itself was not yet available. That is now available, has been reviewed, and is just here seeking approval and signature for the file.
Thank you. Amber, did you want to say anything?
No, I'm fine with it.
And are there any board comments?
None here, Madam Chair.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve.
Support.
a call for the vote, Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is a request for outdoor dining. Joseph Farina, owner of Cafe Farina, is requesting to put outdoor dining in front of their business located at 825 Franklin Street. Good morning.
Good morning, Margaret O'Donnell on behalf of Joe Farina. I'm the general manager at the Cafe Farina.
Okay. Why don't you explain what you want to do and how you're going to set it up?
We want to provide an outdoor cafe, and it would be in front of the property. I submitted a plan and some pictures. We also want to just create a little bit more atmosphere, but without getting in the way of pedestrian traffic.
Okay. Planning, have you taken a look at this? Do you want to give us your input?
Sorry.
Yeah, well, basically, I gave her the forms to fill out, went over the rules. They have a little bit more bonus than most places downtown in that's a very wide sidewalk there. So it's really kind of advantageous to put a cafe space out there. We've had numerous other cafes there with previous owners. It would be very similar to that. There is a pole there, a light pole. They would have to stay 4 feet away from that. You know, they would have to provide the fence can only be, I think, 36. She also would have to work with ATC once she gets set up, Alcohol Tobacco Commission, to make sure, because they would then come out and inspect that and then update the floor plan to serve alcohol out in that. If they're going to be serving alcohol, they have to work with provide a new floor plan for that. I don't think they come out and inspect though until I think they literally will come out and inspect it once it's set up, and then if there's deficiencies, they would make them correct that before they would allow them to do that.
Amber, I think that you were telling me earlier that there was an encroachment agreement that needed to be signed. Why don't you explain that?
Correct. The Board of Works and Safety passed an outdoor dining policy back in 2008. I wasn't with the city back then, and I looked through old records to see if we had any encroachment agreements, and we didn't. So I had to draft one. That's why it wasn't prepared in advance when they filled out the application. But if the board does approve the request, it would be subject to a temporary encroachment agreement, which would have indemnification and hold harmless and insurance requirements in it.
Okay, and we have not received a certificate of insurance, have we?
No, it would be all outlined in here too, that which.
I think that's a good way to handle it, actually, with an encroachment certificate.
Mhm.
That's a really good way. I didn't know.
Yeah, and my recommendation would be that the outdoor dining expire every year, and so that they come back and do a re-request, just so that we can always assure certificate of insurance is correct too. And if there's any modifications to the site plan or.
That makes sense.
Is there any public comments? Is there any board comment?
Just a question, Madam Chair, for our planning director. I'm not sure, but I think we've had requests for street outdoor dining before that we've denied. Is that correct? I don't want to open up the floodgates here. We need to be prepared for this because with the development we're having.
I can't remember any that we've denied.
We've had a lot that we approved.
We've approved a lot, absolutely.
But it was because of COVID, we didn't have any, so it's been a long
It's
time.
been a long time. I will say that we tried to work as flexible as possible during COVID with our owners to make sure we kept business going. But we haven't had many requests. And keep in mind, they only have to request this if they go out a certain distance from their building. So like, I believe some of the buildings, I think it's like 4 feet, 3 feet, something. It's in the code. I can't remember what the code says, but this would be extending way past that distance. But no, we haven't really can't remember any that we've denied. Now, ATC may have come in and put the kibosh on some because they didn't have their updated floor plan and we're serving alcohol out there. That I've seen that happen before, but I haven't seen us deny it.
Okay. Madam Chair, I have a question.
Sir.
Are we concerned about limiting a sidewalk to 3 feet?
They actually have to, I believe they have to go to 4 foot, if I'm not mistaken, provide 4 feet of space in our code. So 3 feet, yeah, that's about ADA. We're giving an extra foot in our rules.
Okay, so the map we were provided, it'll take it back to allow for a 4 foot sidewalk.
Yeah, it needs to allow for 4 foot in there. Yeah, that would give plenty of space.
The site plan only said 3, that's why.
Okay, so we just pop it back to 4 to give that extra foot. Typically, you want to give 4. I mean, 3 is standard, but you want to do 4. That would be my suggestion.
Any other questions?
None here, Madam Chair.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve for the season as a seasonal
Contingent
on the certificate of insurance and
And
alcohol, tobacco.
Yeah.
And the modification of the,
Site plan.
the plan.
yes.
Need a motion?
And with the, mhm. No, the modification of the site plan that was submitted, because right now it shows only 3 feet and we need 4.
Okay.
And then what'll happen is we'll go out and measure once it's set up, once it gets installed, just like ATC, we would go out there, literally take a tape measure. Just to ensure.
I'll support that.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vince.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, guys.
Next item on the agenda is a request for use of city property. Fadi Dawood, 6-7 South Court is requesting to build a 10-by-10 pier on city-owned pond located behind his residence.
Yes, my name is Fadi Dawood. I live in Chicago and in Michigan City. I bought the second house in Michigan City to stay away from Chicago traffic. So I have in my backyard a small pond. So I'm trying to prevent my kids going into the pond. So instead of building a fence, I'm trying to build a small pier with the fence. It'll add more view to the house and keep my kids away from the pond.
Okay. I'm not sure I understand that, but why don't you step up? You want to make a comment? Yeah, you, Skylar.
So I guess I'm confused. Is it a pier or is it a fence?
Instead of building a fence, I'm building a pier with the fence and around the pier.
We'd have to see something on that, wouldn't we? I can't picture this.
But in general, I would say that we don't allow encroachments into our public spaces, especially built improvements, accessories, like a building or even a fence. You guys have seen fences come to you on public rights of way and we deny them.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So we have concerns because this is public property and also liability concerns.
Yeah, just
from my standpoint.
I mean, yeah, we've made people remove encroachments in the past off of public property. We've dealt with some in Mott's Woods, I believe. We've dealt with them in Ruby Woods as well, just recently with encroachments. So I don't know that you want to start permitting them, if you will. It's just mine.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Any board comments?
Madam Chair, I was a little bit confused about the location. I see, looking at this, I see Larkspur as a property, Larkspur Lane. So is this Henry Lake?
Yes, it's Henry Lake. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the only one live on the lake. I'm the only one taking care of the lake, actually. I'm just putting some chemical to kill the allergy around the lake, and just trying to keep my kids away from the lake, just to put something from there in my backyard. It's not something that's huge or something. It's gonna add more beauty to the lake itself.
Yeah. Well, I'm fairly familiar with Henry Lake. Got in a little trouble years ago with him. Dug a trench and dropped the elevation of the lake about a foot. I'd make a motion table this for just one meeting so we can investigate it a little bit more. Sir, that is not a clean lake as I recall being out there. So
Amber, isn't this part?
I'm not sure if is it under the parks jurisdiction?
that's why we've got things to sort out.
But I'm still concerned from a liability perspective. Maybe
Oh,
that's not going to eliminate my concern at all.
I got,
I
my
would tend
point,
to deny.
yeah, my point is you build a pier, you build anything out there that is quote unquote fun. You're inviting kids other than keeping them out, if I understand your statement. And the first one that falls in there and gets injured on city property in a waterway, ouch.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah, actually, it's already unsafe right now. I'm trying to make it safer. When I build a pier, there's a trees in left and right side hand.
It's a wetland, Skylar.
Yeah, when I build the pier.
It's not what's before us, though.
So Mayor, I'm just gonna bring up, you were right, Lake Henry, it's a wetland. It's actually a designated wetland. That's actually why when you were digging in it.
I got in trouble.
Yeah. So it's actually a wetland. You're not supposed to touch it.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah. Supposed to be left alone.
From my standpoint, I
sorry.
would deny.
I'll make a motion to deny.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. The next two items, the Park Department report we've already had, and the special event report from Terry Greetham will be continued till next meeting. Next item on the agenda then would be the request to solicit bids. Andrew Metanek, IT Director, is requesting the approval to solicit quotes for the 2023 Central Services and Central Maintenance CCTV camera updates.
Good morning, Andrew Metanek, IT Department, just here again for the request to solicit quotes for the CCTV replacement cameras at Central Services and at Central Maintenance.
So this board at the last meeting already approved this request. This is technically a request to approve the solicitation package. So this isn't actually bids because we anticipate it to be under the dollar threshold. Mr. Metanek's going to go out and seek 3 vendors to give formal sealed quotes back to the
So
city.
just bid pack.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Do I have any board comments?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the opening of bids for the Michigan City Police Department 2023 3-year lease program for 9 Dodge Durangos police pursuit package fully outfitted. Is there anyone here wishing to submit a bid today? If not, do I have a motion to close the bids?
Motion to close bids.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Amber.
I have 1 sealed bid from LaPorte Chrysler. The total for the 9 for a 3-year lease would be $369,801. We also asked for the price if we were only to do 1 for a 3-year lease, which would be $41,089. Which delivery date would be within 30 to 60 days. Mileage allowance per vehicle is $25,000.
Okay, and that includes the fully outfitted. It's all fully outfitted, correct?
Chief is shaking his head, yes.
just to make sure.
Yeah, good morning, Marty Corley, Chief Operations, Michigan City Police Department. In the bid package, we asked for it to be fully outfitted. So yes, that would be the price.
Madam President, I also see a letter in here that says my bid meets all of your requirements, including equipment upfit and details as outlined.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion for review by the legal and police department and to return to the next meeting with a recommendation? Or do we want to go ahead with this?
Give me 1 second, let me just look at it real quick.
Send it back in.
You could do this at the next meeting. I can't read this
Yeah.
6-point font without a
So that's
magnifying glass. Sorry, Chief. I'm sorry.
I have a copy if you need it.
Motion to table till our next meeting.
Second.
call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item is the opening of bids for the following properties. Christine Vanderberg has given us a list of 3 properties: 925 West 7th Street, owner Housing Opportunities, 425 North Woodland Avenue, owner Consuelo Tolson, and 227 Hendrick Street, owner Ahmed Realtor LLC. Is there anyone here wishing to submit a bid today? Hearing none, then do I have a motion to close the bids?
Motion to close bids.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Okay, so I'm opening up the bids for 925 West 7th Street. There is 1 bid from Pavey Excavating. The amount of $24,680. Then I'm opening up the bids for 207 Hendrick Street. There's 3 bids. The first is from Pavey Excavating. It's in the amount of $25,210. The second is from Smith and Sons Excavating. I'm sorry, there's only 2 bids. The second one I'm holding is, it looks like Smith and Sons submitted 2 packages, one with the EEO packet. So there's only 2. And again, this is Smith and Sons. in the amount of $24,000. The third one is for 425 North Woodland Ave. And again, there's two bids. The first one's from Pavey Excavating. In the amount of $18,385. Second is from Smith and Sons. It's in the amount of $20,000.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion for review by the legal department and code enforcement and return to with a recommendation at the next meeting?
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Second.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item is a request to close sidewalk. Eric Campbell, St. Joe Young Men's Society is requesting to close the sidewalk on Franklin and Tillotson for their annual festival on June 23rd, 2023 from 3 p.m. to midnight, Saturday, June 24th, 2023 from noon to midnight, and Sunday, June 25th, 2023 from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Is there anyone here wishing to address this? Amber, have you looked at this application?
Yes, originally the certificate of insurance was incorrect, but we were just provided with a corrected copy this morning and it looks like it's good.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Any board comment? Oh, Corporal? Have you looked at this? This is an annual event. Yes. Yeah.
I apologize for that. Again, with this being an annual event and with what I've seen, no issues at all. We never have issues with that. So
Thank you. Board,
Just the St. Joe has been having this event annually as far back as I can remember, and they have never had an incident. It's a very responsible organization, so I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a payroll docket for June 25th, 2023, which has not been received. And the claims docket for June 5th, 2023, municipal claims of $966,943.33. Health and life insurance fund of $805,374.26. CDBG Community Development Block Grant of $88.36. Workers' Comp Trust of $132,039.50. Total claims $1,904,499.45. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve as read.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is the unfinished business list. The first item being Rodney McCormick's request for a street light in the alleyway of Emily and Miller. Would you please come up, Brad?
Good morning again. I don't know if it made it into your packets, but NIPSCO had installed 2 streetlights last fall, I believe in September, at the proposed locations. So I have pictures of those. I drove through that neighborhood this morning and found 4 streetlights in that area. Obviously, being daylight hours, I don't know that they're all operational, but they all appear to be LED streetlights. So my recommendation would be, if there's additional lighting needed, that I can request that from NIPSCO. I don't know if that needs to go through a formal request or.
Yeah, he would have to make a request for that. Again, get on our agenda. We're just dealing with the matter before us today.
And you say that one was already installed?
Yes, the both of them were installed.
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. There is one light at the end of between Miller and Emily Street at the very east end. It's pitch black in that alleyway. A lot of our people that's still there, that's left there, are senior citizens. And they should feel secure going in those alleyways. I live there. Union Street is bad too, but it was approval and I haven't seen them lights. I haven't seen the lights work over there. It's pitch black and something needs to be done about it. Thank you.
So the lights that you requested have been installed. Okay, wait, don't let me finish. If there's additional lights or problems, please fill out a request with the clerk's office and we'll deal with it at our next meeting. Would you do that, please?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to remove?
Motion to remove.
Second.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. The next item on the agenda has been taken care of or will be taken care of at a later date. So we're going to make a motion on Cranston Harris emergency repairs to fuel tanks at central maintenance and have this removed from the pending items list. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. The next item is Don Prespolinski's request to remove the AT&T wire boxes throughout the city. Did you want to address this, Don?
Morning, board members. Yeah, I brought this up to the board. I believe it's been a couple months ago, and it was going to be investigated, put it on the pending items list. So I'm here today to find out what investigation work has been done with AT&T as far as getting these boxes removed. So that's what I'm here to get an answer. If it's going to be
Do you
done.
have any idea how many boxes you're talking about, by the way, or locations?
I have no idea how many boxes are out throughout Michigan City. I mean, they're up and down Franklin Street. They're up and down Michigan Boulevard. They're in different locations. No, I don't have that.
So,
you know, I was hoping that I guess if I would have been investigating this, if I had been given that assignment, I would have got a hold of a representative from AT&T and then sit down with them to see how many boxes they had and are these boxes even needed. Maybe some are still needed. I think a lot of them are out of order and don't need to be needed anymore because they're either laying on their sides or they're rusted out or they've been run over by vehicles. Take, for example, over on, that would be Jackson and Cool Spring Ave, where Mr. Al Whitlow used to live. There was an AT&T box there, and it's been run over several times, so now it's flat on the ground. And it's still there. You can see all the wires are laying right there on the ground. You can see them on the south from Highway 20, 421 and 20, going down to 400 North. These boxes line Franklin Street going all the way out there. Are they in use? I don't know. I don't work for AT&T, but I can guarantee some of them have been run over by semis. They're laying on their sides. Other ones are rusted through and they're just standing there. And I was hoping that maybe, you know, the city engineer or someone would, has anyone, can I ask the board a question? If any, has anybody from the city contacted AT&T yet to even move forward with this project?
Not yet. And I think, looking at this, I think that we were really overstating the amount of time. This is not going to be something that's going to be happening overnight. We said this for today. I think it should go out 3, 4, 5 months because it is a big job. Okay.
No, well, yes, well.
I would suggest to give us time because we have other things that we're doing and we can't give the attention to this at such short notice.
Well, and just my point is that I would have hoped that someone would have just made contact with AT&T to see what the next step would be. I'm not saying that all these have to come out of the ground in a matter of 6 months. You know, who do we contact? What have they said? Are they going to work with the city? That's what I'm trying to accomplish here. And then if they say, well,
Madam President.
it'll say Michigan City, it's going to take a year to remove these. Well, then we have a time frame on what the job's going to take.
I just did a quick Google search and it looks like there's AT&T already has a community forum where people have voiced complaints about this before and they gave a number that we can call and report it. We just need the location. So I'll pass that on. I don't know if what office or department it needs to go to, but I can pass it on.
Okay, that's good. Let's set this out a few months.
September.
Thank you, Amber.
Make a motion, move to September.
Second.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you, board members.
Next item on the agenda is Paul Prespolinski's safety concern about the 88 corners for the double tracks at 10th and 11th Street. This was going to be taken care of with the two-way conversion, wasn't it? Can somebody answer that for me?
This was independent of the two-way conversion.
Okay.
I've been in contact with WSP, which is the company doing the construction inspection for the Nickty double track project. They've sent me an inventory of the ADA ramps along 10th and 11th Street, along the length of the improvement for Michigan City. Roughly 70% of them are in compliance. 30% need to be removed and replaced. And they've asked me to push it out till the second Board of Works meeting next month because the contractor has not had an opportunity to remedy the ones that are 30% that are deficient.
Okay, thank you. Then I need a motion to push this out to the second meeting in July.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Brad, we also have this matter regarding the Woodland Avenue crash analysis. Did you want to address that?
My recommendation would be to, if the funds permit, for the pavement striping contract, add Woodland Avenue to that. I think the pavement markings being faded away are impactful to an extent on that corridor. So that would be my recommendation in the short term, would be to add that to the pavement marking list for this season.
And how are you going to do that?
There is a contract that's nearly put together by Haas and Associates. It's nearly complete. it would be out for bid.
Okay, so you're going to do that independent? Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
And do we want to leave this on the agenda or want to come? Remove it? How do you want to handle it?
But that's a tough one because that's going to be an expensive project. Woodland Ave. I think that was, as I recall, I think that was that one of the 15 or one of the 11 streets that we are going to repave?
No, because that doesn't fit into the scope of CCMG. CCMG scope is traditionally mill and pave, and this would be widening with passing blisters. So that's why we did not include it. But I was speaking specifically about pavement markings, which would be considerably less cost to help delineate the driving lane.
I think that's a great start. I think that's a great start because to widen that would be really a detailed project. And we, if the council approves what the ARPA committee came up with at our last meeting, which is to rebuild Paz Road and in place of a sidewalk, put an 8-foot wide or 9-foot wide biking walking path in place of a sidewalk all the way out to the high school. That takes $1.5 million of the $3 million we had left, and the other $1.5 million will go into housing assistance. So we're going to have to look at another place for the funding. So that's a tough one.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but so basically what we're going to do is we would just remove this from the pending items list and we'd go ahead with the straight.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the public comment. Any matter requiring board action will not be discussed under the public comment section of the board meetings. All matters that require board action must be placed on the agenda using the forms and procedures available at the clerk's office. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes. Comments addressed to the board president, not individual board members. Comments must be germane and within the mandate and authority of this board. Please proceed, Mr. McCormick.
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. I'm here to talk about the Burnham Brewery project. The grass is out of control. There's no permits there. I don't know. We have time to bring out elected officials and police officers and put shovels in the ground, but we do not clean it.
Let me interrupt you. You're bringing something before the board that really needs to be put in to a form as a request.
This is our public comment. This is public comment. I'm using my public comment time to make a public comment. And I'm not going to stop because I'm going to use my time to make a public comment. This is what public comment is for.
Not really. You're bringing up something completely new, but go ahead. I'll let you do it this one time.
I'm going to keep doing it. This is nothing new. We put shovels in the ground. We talked about how Burnham Brewery is going to be here. The building is just sitting there. No proper permits that was pulled on the project. No permit to do the parking lots. I don't understand why they can't just come by and make sure that project is, the grass is cut and it's cleaned around the building. I lived in the neighborhood. We're sick and tired of seeing it. We cut our grass. We cut the right of way. Least you can come and do is cut this grass that's over there. Next, I have a concern about the splash park. Mr. Mayor gave us an update last board meeting. I just like to know where we are at with the splash park. I heard there's been some issues going on with that. And then last but not least is the refuse department vehicles. We purchase these vehicles, we buy them. I don't know why we're not leasing them, but we purchase these vehicles and Central Service is not even equipped or have the technology to work on these vehicles. So these vehicles end up going out of town and they sit there for a long time. We have one vehicle that's supposed to be coming back that's going to go out for sale because it's not even worth fixing. It's probably cost us $5,000 to get somebody to tell us that. The refuse department is down, from what I was told, 6 vehicles right now. Some of the stuff that's in the alleyways can't get picked up because we don't have the equipment. Can we at least check into that and find out what's going on? NIPSCO used to use these CNG vehicles, and NIPSCO sent a lot of those vehicles back. It's not worth it. We don't have nobody qualified to work on them here. And it's causing us too much downtime, and then things are not getting done. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kalaba.
Yeah, Tommy Kolavic, 1316 Ohio Street. I'd just like to remind the board and all the members of the public that a week from today, Monday, June 12th, it'll mark the 50-year anniversary of the inferno that destroyed the Pullman Standard Rail Car shops. It's the site where Lighthouse Price Premium Outlets now. They said this picture was taken by Stuart Mickert. He was a photographer for a long time. This is on the website, monon.org. This is really why important we got to have our updated and good working fire equipment. I mean, just look at that. They said the winds were blowing out of the south that day, or we'd have had another great Chicago fire on our hands. I'll see that. It's just something I really wanted to let everybody know. And
thank you.
As far as Don Przeblinski and those utility boxes, you're going to have a really hard time getting those. We have those all over the county like that. The problem is it's in the wintertime when the snowplow comes by, they're really not well built, and the backwash and the snowplow is what wipes them out. And I tried working with our late councilman, Jeff Santana, to get those fixed. It's just impossible to try to make that service call and get them out there and fix. So you just got to let them fix them in their own due diligence and their own due time. You're going to have a really hard time doing anything with those.
Thank you. Please proceed.
I'm Laura Henderson at 510 East 9th Street, also on the tree board. I would like to thank the Board of Works for approving our recommendation for the position of City Arborist Nicole Metzger. It took us a long time to find her, and we were very pleased with our appointment, with our request, and we thank you for approving it. And I would like to express the shock and dismay of myself and I believe the entire tree board at her recent firing. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there any board comment?
Michael, do you have any? Okay. I'm surprised that we're getting out of here this early. This is really great when I looked at the agenda, because I'd like to, I'm going to have time now to go and pay my respects to Mr. Tannehill. But not anticipating that, I have a few comments I would like to make. I'd like, on behalf of the city of Michigan City, to express our sincere condolences to the families of Eric Julian Tannehill, a local legend, a cornerstone, born in Michigan City. He was the owner of the Melt Kitchen in LaPorte, the kitchen owner of the Dark Star restaurant. He was employed in several restaurants as chefs. He was, in 2010, had a recipe put in the corporate cookbook. He was the first recipient of Salvation Army's donut eating contest, and also a recipient of their Salvation Arms Helping Hands Award. Truly a loss to the community, a fine gentleman, and there's 50 minutes yet to pay your respects to him this morning at St. Paul, if you can make it, if you can have time. I just want to express that as one item, and very quickly as another one. I'll try to make it. This morning on my way to work, as I drove by Ames Field, I saw the Michigan City Area Schools billboard with pictures of the class of 2023 distinguished graduates. And I felt that's really insufficient for the hard work that those young people put in to getting that designation. I would like to say who those people are very quickly. If I mispronounce your name, please forgive me, but I really feel that they deserve a lot of exposure and credit. Paige Burton, Kayla Campbell, Quentin Collins, Ryan Kuma, Cade Fendry, Ross Hill, Hallie Hood, Adrian Huizar, Thalia Corrales, Dana Canola, Kira Krasinski, Destiny Menoweather, Alejandro Moto Lopez, Violet Murphy, Corrales Nichols, Andrew Oleksink, Alexi Orman, Nathaniel Painter, Courtney Pratt, Diego Romero, Kelly Serrano, Tristan Sherwood, Antoine Smith, Max Thompson, Anastasia Tim, Brianna Weston, Mia Zembrowski, and Joseph Zook. These young scholars and achievers, on behalf of the city of Michigan City, we're very proud of you. Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Support?
Call for the vote, Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Thank you all.